I'll take it before they even could finish offering their hand. And when you start like, no, I'm going to go in for the long haul, like I've seen you, David, you're not afraid of playing the long game against someone who is the same rating as you.
Yeah. I think if someone offers a draw, they're offering it for a reason, right? It's because they don't like their own position, or because they're slightly scared, or they're not feeling so happy that day. Yeah, I think why not fight every game to the end? You win or you learn. That's what I was taught when I was young. You don't lose. Okay, you might lose one game, but it will help you
learn from that.
It'll put you in good stead for the future.
Yeah, but things are livening up a little bit. The nature of the position has changed, because before it was quite a stable position, and now we see that Magnus has struck out in the centre, challenging the pawn, and is temporarily a pawn up, actually.
That's a shocker. Danil Dubov a pawn down. We've never seen that one before.
But temporarily.
It's temporary, for sure. Yeah, if we bring up the analysis board, we can see how the position has changed over the last few moves. The main way the position has transitioned is the fact that White has lost one of his central pawns. Black currently has a pawn more, but these pawns are doubled and they are eternally weak, especially this pawn at the front. It will drop off sooner or later. This pawn at the front is not protected by any black pieces. It will fall to the black knight. We have seen a couple of trades, meanwhile, black bringing his knight forward, and a bishop for knight trade. Long term, that's maybe a good thing for White, but short term, black's knight is very active. This pawn, as I mentioned, it is dropping off. It's going to be taken next move. It's attacked twice by White's knight, by White's queen. But black is very active right now. I would expect to see maybe the black bishop start to arrive along this very kind of potent diagonal right now. Maybe black's rook will join the action here. Magnus, he's very active, but long term, suddenly the features favour White because black's pawns are potentially so weak.
All right, we're talking about the internet today, Meltwater Champions Chess Tour being an online tour. And Jamaica, would you have thought 10 or even maybe 5 or maybe even 3 years ago that the biggest chess tour would be an online event?
No.
It's happened quite fast, hasn't it?
No, yeah, it completely has happened. I mean, this has never really been done before. It's only because of COVID that something like this has actually happened.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would have said, no, you can't replace over-the-board chess.
Yeah.
And suddenly everyone and anyone is playing. And I think that the nature of classical chess has actually changed. I'm not really sure whether I'm prepared actually to go and play in a tournament that is 10 days long and take 10 days of holiday, because I can actually, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I can actually just take some time off, play at home. It's completely in the comfort, and I get to experience the thrill and and despair of losing,
learning,
learning and winning, and it's still really good. I mean, all we need now is these interactive rooms where people can hang out with their friends.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of my dream, actually. Like, if we have a world championship match, that you kind of get allocated a room, and you get given some kind of avatar, and you can hang out with people and just go, hey, how about this game? How about this move?
Well, you should take, what do you call it, patent on that. That's a great idea.
You've just told thousands of people your idea, Rebecca.
Okay.
We're going to see this in the Champions Chess Tour tomorrow now, people having, like, hangout rooms.
Yes. I mean, when I was young, I used to go to these chess clubs all the time. My parents would drive me, I mean, often more than an hour just to go to a chess club, to hang out, to learn from the members, to play some games. Now we can do that from the comfort of our home, but it'll be so cool to have this room, just have a video chat while we play some games, and maybe that's
very good idea. All right, we do have some moves on this online chessboard of ours.
Yeah, so Magnus Carlsen, he knew that one of his extra pawns was going to drop, so he just said, okay, you have the pawn back, Dubov. I'm going to push forward myself. So Magnus Carlsen giving back his extra pawn, material now level again. But the key thing is Danil Dubov has a pair of bishops. Both of White's bishops still exist. Meanwhile, Black has only his light square bishop. So level material, but long term. I'm liking those bishops. Magnus Carlsen, though, with his last move, opening up his light square bishop, trying to challenge White's supremacy in the centre. And Magnus Carlsen, I think he's playing very logical chess right now. Dubov, he's happy because he knows long-term White has great chances. But remember, style-wise, he doesn't care about those long-term issues so much. He is more about that attack. And meanwhile, the Black King, super safe. So yeah, this one, I slightly prefer White's position, but I think good long-term strategy from Magnus Carlsen.
And the opening that Danil Dubov chose here, you guys said the game was very similar to a game that Danil Dubov won in the Things Masters. So definitely something Magnus will have been looking at. And that as well, with the internet and the computer age, how much has it changed the actual openings of chess, and how much, I mean, how different is the way players prepare for games and tournaments now, with the possibility to go online and just watch all games ever played?
Yeah, it's just that access to material. It's, I mean, there's so many resources out there nowadays with, I mean, websites like Chessable where you can watch video courses from the top players in the world. You see Anish Giri creating all this material, Wesley. So they're giving away their secrets pretty much for free. In the past, as Ivanka mentioned, you had to delve into games. You had to search in newspapers just to find one game of those players. That's without even their advice, without their comments.
Yeah. I mean, just to add on that point, you know, we have Chess24, where the world's top players, including Magnus Carlsen, come and play Banter Blitz.
That's true.
And they tell us their thoughts. And, you know, you yourself, if you're a premium member, can actually challenge the world champion. I mean, you just don't get that in any other sport there is in the world without paying thousands and thousands of dollars for that. So, yeah, you know, you have all these things available to you. And, of course, you have access to the games where you can search on the online databases and see what people have been playing and what they've been preparing.
It's hard to keep secrets.
Yeah, it's hard to keep secrets. But even the viewers at home, they have the same tools out there as the world champion, as top players in the world.
Yeah.
They can prepare in the same way the world champions do. And yeah, I mean, it's just fantastic. There are databases online. There are these video courses, everything. And like Ivanka says, you wouldn't imagine in football just having a kick around with Cristiano Ronaldo, him giving you some tips on, you know, finishing. And yeah, Magnus Carlsen is very kind of open with his ideas.
Yeah, but it is still, luckily though, chess is still, even if it's online or over the board, it's still all about the brain. And I did see Magnus Carlsen just burying his brain in his hands, thinking very intensively here, as it is Danil Dubov in the move. What are they?
Predict his moves in advance.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting, actually, the change approach, because it did actually start off the game did in fact start off very similar to the game that Magnus Carlsen lost in the Things Masters. But here he kind of changed tack. So while in that game he kind of went for the solid, here he's like, no, I'm going to accept some positional weaknesses, but my pieces are going to be super active. And yeah, his pawn in the center could potentially be very weak. But at the same time, you know, look at his rook. It's on an open line. Rooks want to be on open lines. His bishop is on the long diagonal. Both white bishops are amazing, but so is black's. And the position is very much unbalanced. And I think this is where we're seeing Magnus adapt.
Yeah, definitely a different strategy to the one he took in the last tournament where he got knocked out. He's just trying to keep things simple this time. In the past, he allowed, you know, that maze, that dark forest that the viewer was talking about. It's actually an outpost. It can't be challenged by anyone. Potentially, if black can capture it, it would also double one of white's pawns. As Ivanka mentions as well, actually, I think the key to this position is, although white has the bishop pair, which is an advantage, that's a grandmaster tip. Bishops often are better than knights in these open positions. Although white has them, it's easy for black to challenge these bishops in this exact position. Black's bishop here just kind of completely neutralizes the effect of white's light square bishop. These bishops kind of cancel each other out, and that's why he tried to get rid of the other bishop, this other bishop retreating. Right now, if white is forced to continue retreating, then Magnus Carlsen will be very, very happy. I expect to see maybe Magnus Carlsen start